Last time on Square Roots, we meet Rita, the mage with an unhealthy love of Blastia, and Raven, who's the oldest person you've ever seen. Also, horrors in the basement, fire on the sea, and a life-sized pirate doll. Hey, what's a pirate's favorite doll? Barbie!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hi-do-ho, neighborina.
John, That's So Raven, Brandon.
More like That's So Ragin'.
Okay. And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time.
What's a chunker?
It's like a piece.
I thought we had a new name for it.
A piece of
that
a game.
I came up with yesterday.
What'd you call it? Oh, what did you call it?
Cruncher, I think.
Cruncher.
Do it again, but say cruncher this time.
That
No.
makes no sense. It's not crunchy.
It feels pretty crunchy to me. Like a
Maybe
snack.
It's like a crunch
It's like
because you're on a
it's like
deadline.
But it's like a bite of the game, right?
Like a chunk, you might say.
Yeah, like a bite or a chunk or a crunch. You know how you call it bite a crunch? A cruncher in your mouth? You guys use the same terminology as me, right?
Yeah.
No.
No. Muncher. We'll call it a muncher, and it'll be in Ghostbusters. That's how we're going to get our big break. Do you guys remember how Jim made that big long muncher joke a few months ago?
Did I make a muncher joke?
It lasted like a whole episode of the podcast. I remember being there, and then I remember editing it like the next day and being like, ugh. But I think I heard that Muncher is real and in the new Ghostbusters movie.
Muncher is real. Was that me trying to convince you that Muncher is real?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Muncher is
We
real.
named an episode after it. I feel so
Muncher is real.
betrayed by Jim's whole gimmick.
Of being correct.
But as like, help me out here, Vanessa.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I cannot remember what happens on the show after it happens. And writing the last time is the hardest thing I have to do every week.
Y'all gotta learn how to edit. All right. So now that we know what a cruncher is,
It's time to talk about hot game news.
hot game news. Wow, wow, wow. Who wants to go first?
I don't know that I have any hot game. Oh, I tried a game. I tried a new game. I don't remember what it's called, though. Let me look it up.
Feels like more of a level up.
But isn't
game
that... I
news.
thought that was just our joke name for the level up.
That is a
Clearly,
classic
John has not
Square
looked at the
Roots.
notes.
Yeah.
That's a good
Uh-oh.
Square Roots reporting
Well,
standard,
I'm
though.
looking at the Patreons, but...
Oh, I played a game called Backbone.
What?
What?
It's like a noir game where you play as like a squirrel or a raccoon.
What?
Okay. I like this
Yeah.
so far.
This is
And it's like a side-scrolling detective game that kind of looks like remember that old game Identity that was like a side-scroller platformer like set in the future kind of thing. This is
No,
like
but
a
are you thinking of Flashback? What's the other one?
Oh,
Outer?
Flashback was the one I was thinking
I did
of.
like
yeah.
Flashback.
Yeah, I
So
like
you're
Flashback.
saying it's not
Outer
a John
Worlds, right?
Cusack-based platformer where you play
No.
as John Cusack's...
No, I
Or-
wish.
Pruitt Taylor Vince's various identities as they murder
that
each
movie,
other.
That movie sucks.
Yes.
Good.
Also, John Hawkes is in that movie. But no, Backbone is a new game. I think I saw it on my Xbox and I downloaded it and it's pretty good.
I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah.
I like Flashback. In fact, there was a remake a few years ago that was good, and there's another one called Another World or Outer World.
I think it's
or something.
Another World.
Well,
right?
it was originally called Another World in Europe, but then Another World was a soap opera at the time in the United States. So they changed it to Out of This World in the United
Oh,
States.
Out of This World. That's right. I like both of those games, actually. Those were fun. They're hard as balls.
Yeah, I finished both of them. Like I finished
Wow. I found that like hard to believe. Those games were hard as shit.
Out of
Yeah,
This
they were
World,
really hard.
and I finished Heart of the Alien, which was the Sega CD sequel to Out of This World, which was you were playing as the alien instead of Lester. Remember his big, chunky, lovable boyfriend, the big alien that helps him?
I don't.
Oh,
But I believe you.
in the sequel, you play as that, and then Lester dies at one point, which sucks. It's like,
that's
okay, yeah, why would you want? No, don't do this to your game peoples.
I hate it when Lester dies.
I was
You
real
know?
sad because
Do
I
you guys-
loved Out of This World so much.
You guys have any HGN? Any
I kind of
hot
do.
game news?
There's a couple of brand new RPGs that I think that we should be looking at, not necessarily for the main show, of course, but just for
to
some
look at.
sort of poking around. Yes, one is called Dungeon Encounters.
Oh, is that the Square Enix one that they're
I don't know.
advertising for all the time?
Oh yeah, it's the one that's
Yeah.
like $30 and looks like an ASCII game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but I
no,
think it
thank
looks interesting. And what's the other one that just came out that was the guy that had worked on older Final Fantasies? Everybody was real excited about it. It came out on the Switch, right? Just like a month ago. Was it Astria Ascending?
Oh, I hadn't heard about that one. I saw the on at the what's that Sony press conference called? The Play It
Was it
Again
Dungeon
Sony.
Encounters?
State of play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a trailer for Star Ocean 6, and it looks a lot like Xenoblade Chronicles. Like it looked like that kind of open worldy RPG. I've only played Star Ocean 4. That's the only one I've played at all, and it was awful to the point that I think it would be really funny to do on the show.
Oh boy,
That
I
sounds
disagree
fun,
with that.
actually.
Maybe it's like
Oh.
a bonus episode, but a full season of a crap game. I don't know which number I played of the Star Oceans, but I know that it was god awful.
Isn't
It was
4
one
the
of the
one?
like PS3 maybe.
Is 4 like the one that's like till the end of time? Is that it's like
It was the
Star
one with like
Ocean?
a blonde, like Chaz like guy, and he's obsessed with eating food, and it's just real bad. I don't know. I really want to do one vote this year that is a bad game, but
I
maybe
like that.
Matt could miss that season.
Yeah, good luck with that, gang. Good luck with enduring 40 hours of like I can hardly handle it when it's like a good RPG.
Like Infinite Undiscovery or
Ooh, yes, that's my
We've-
nominee.
We've talked about that one for a long time.
I do
never
have
even heard
that
of it.
sealed copy of Infinite Undiscovery too that I should
Infinite
send.
Undiscovery is the one with the dinner dance, right?
Yes.
Yes. Dinner.
I've only played the first 30 minutes. Anyway, so that's my hot gaming news. I watched that State of Play conference. There's one game that was called like The Devil Inside Me or something that looked kind of neat. It looked like a Roblox kind of adventure game that looked very cute and tilt shifty and fun.
Huh. That sounds interesting.
Isn't
Yeah.
The Devil Inside Me the new Dark Anthology game?
I
Is it?
think it is. Yeah.
Oh, then what was the game called that I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Oh,
The devil
maybe-
outside me.
Well, it looked like a cute adventure game with a really nice aesthetic. Yeah, no hot gaming news here, but I can level up if y'all want.
Sure.
Okay, friends. My level up is I finished a game that we aren't playing for the podcast, which I don't think I've done all year.
Wow.
I finished the game Crisis Remastered.
Wow. I saw you talking about that game on Twitter. Tell me how you feel about it.
So the first, the remasters control really well, especially like on PS5 and Series X and Series S. They look really good and like are super fluid and fun. The first 2/3 of that game are awesome. Like I really got into how you could like basically their levels. It is an open world, but the levels are so big and wide you can kind of approach each battle however you want. Like you could be throwing things, you could be picking up people and throwing them, you could be using stealth, you could be running through these levels and like tearing into people. And there's just a million ways to do each encounter, and that's super fun.
That's
And it
cool.
just the physics is so cool. Like you can throw, make trees fall on people, or get all the sort of procedural things to help, sort of like in Far Cry 4, how you can sort of get animals, or 5 or 6 animals to attack people. Like you can use physics stuff to defeat people, and I really like that stuff. But then the last third of the game is terrible. Like, God, I don't know if any of you played Half-Life 2, but the last third of that game is bad too.
No,
right?
Oh, really?
When you're doing the stuff in the city, that's cool.
Well, it's just like the tower seemed broken and unfinished a
Oh,
lot
yes,
of the time.
I agree. Yeah, everything was just like this gray. You're just a big gray level.
Yeah, and that's what the last couple of, like, they just seemed like broken PS2 levels. Like, it reminded me of stuff from bad PS2 shooters that I played. And
but the end of Half-Life 2, where you're fighting the Striders and you're throwing the bombs at them or whatever, that's fun.
Yeah, but it's the part before that where you're inside the tower and it just looks like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And there's there's one level which is kind of neat where you're inside a mountain, but it's just like I got lost. It took me 20 minutes to get outside of one room because I couldn't find the exit.
That was my main issue with the first Crisis, was I felt like I was getting lost all the time.
Especially when there's no map. Because when there's a map, it's fine. You can just look at your map. But these later levels, and then there's just some super linear levels as you're escaping, and then the last set of levels is on this aircraft carrier, and it just doesn't work well inside a tight little environment like that. The game was just not working, and you could barely walk through doors and things like that. It just felt so bad to play. There's this moment where you're flying a plane, and it controls, I just kept crashing into the ground. The controls were so bad. But I'm glad I finished it. Now I'm on to Crisis 2, which sort of it's the opposite, where it handles these linear levels really well, but it doesn't seem to have the big kind of battle levels like the first game did. So
it opens up a little bit in Crisis 2. Crisis 3 has a lot bigger environments. There are a few in 2. I like 2 and 3 a lot.
Okay, I just started it, so I also downloaded. Speaking of garage games I bought because I went to the garage. I did get all the games on Vita that I've been I need to buy this before the store closes. So I got Persona 2 for the Persona 2 Eternal Sin, the PS1 classic. I got Persona 2 Innocent Sin, the PSP game.
Oh, that's cool.
And I got Lunar for the PSP. So I got all those, and I played a bit of Innocent Sin, and it's really neat because it's like a PS1 demake of Persona 3.
Weird.
In a lot of ways. It's definitely halfway between Persona 1, which is a very, it feels very old when you play Persona 1. Persona 2 feels much, much more modern and has amazing sprite art. It's gorgeous.
Speaking of demakes, I should have mentioned in the hot gaming dish section the upcoming PS1 demake of Jim's favorite game of all time.
What's that?
The
Blood one, Blood something.
Bloodborne, the Bloodborne
the
demake. That looks super cool.
Is that an official?
Right?
No, it's unofficial. They're worried that
I thought it was official.
No, they're worried it's going to get shut down. But I watched the first 10 minutes of it today, and it looks good.
Oh yeah, it looks amazing.
I hope that they do a PC or a PS5 version of Bloodborne to run a bit better, because that game looks amazing on PS4, but does run at 12 frames per second a lot of the time.
Yeah.
That early polygonal era is visual static to me.
I love it.
Oh, me too. I like it too.
I think you would like the sprite art because it looks like Final Fantasy Tactics. That's how the levels look.
Oh, I saw
Persona 2.
Yeah. I'm interested in playing Persona 2 for sure. That's fun.
I think that's one we should play before Persona 1, just because Persona 1, I think it would be too old for Mats.
I don't. Yeah, why would we even want to play Persona 1? Isn't it a Nintendo game? No, thank you.
No,
it's
a PlayStation 1 game. It's a PlayStation 1 game. So I played that, and I've been watching some more Mythic Quest. and playing a bit of Breath of the Wild. Matt, do you have anything to say about either of those things?
Mythic Quest was amazing, and I can't wait for Season 3. I got picked up for 2 more seasons. Hey!
Yay!
And Breath of the Wild is also amazing. But speaking of Star Trek, here's a question. Did you watch Star Trek Prodigy?
No.
The Nickelodeon animated series.
I don't know if that's on any of my
With
streaming.
Janeway MFers. I know y'all like
Yeah.
Janeway. Where's
I
Vanessa
love
at?
Janeway.
I'm here.
I don't believe it because I said Janeway.
Who's
and you didn't speak
the
up at all.
beefy boy? I saw like
I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
a still of the characters, and there's a beefy guy there. It's like the only beefy race in Star Trek is the Pakleds, and they're really dumb.
The nice thing about Star Trek is they can do whatever the fuck they want with races.
That's true. I mean, there was a chubby Klingon chef in Deep Space Nine for a while, but anyway.
You know what, Johnny? I think we should all pledge right now together that if one of us ever writes for Star Trek, we will create a race of beefy bears.
Yeah, and Vanessa boyfriends, the floppy hairs.
There's probably a million of those. Have you not seen the Vulcans? They already exist. Get lost.
What?
Star Trek is
Vulcans don't have
all Vanessa
floppy
boyfriends.
hair. Vulcans
Well,
have very straight and very neat hair indeed.
I don't know. I think that
Romulans?
Zachary Quinto and whoever plays Spock in Discovery both have floppy hair, don't they?
Yeah, that's for sure true. That's just a stylistic thing from the era, Vanessa.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Vanessa, how did Vanessa level up?
I received international fan mail, not just for me, but for us. Our listener Crystal sent us some very delicious chocolates from Sweden, and a very kind note.
Someone try to do it in a Swedish chef voice, but try not to be offensive about it.
I was not going to read it.
Now you have to in the Swedish chef voice.
I really don't think I do. It's long and very nice, and
very erotic.
It's not. That's not what I said at all.
So sexy.
But she did say that we're her favorite podcast. So put that in your
That's nice.
pipe and smoke it.
Put that in my
also-
vape and in my pipe and vape it.
Yeah. My hot gaming news is that this Friday is the big Animal Crossing free update, as well as the release of the DLC. So all you animal stands out there, get ready to nook on back to Tom Nook's Island and get Animal in.
I'll have to remind my daughter, but I'm not getting her that DLC till Christmas. Speaking of Nintendo, I noticed that they have another game that just came out, Mario Party Superstars. You guys into that?
Yes, I also will report on that. Mario Party Superstars is a brand new amalgamation of all your favorite Mario Party games. You play a game board, mini games happen. There's Bowser. Mario Party Superstar. Check it out if you're
I
into
love
that
those
kind
games.
of thing.
They're so fun.
I've never played one of them, but I do
Wow.
indulge in watching people play Mario Maker on Twitch. I just enjoy it.
I watched that too, actually.
I know you do. I saw that you followed one of the people who I followed on the Twitter, and it was like Jim Banks also follows, and I'm like, I have discovered his terrible secret.
Was it Barbarous King?
No, it was Dragon Fini.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I will watch them. This isn't. What are you trying to do to me? This isn't streamer shout out hour. I'll watch DGR Dave and I'll watch The Incredible Paco, and that's about it.
Cut all that too.
Yeah, cut all that out. Bleep that. Unless they're sponsoring the show, we don't want to say their names. Also, some of them are like family-friendly brands, and they might be a little bit upset to be associated with this kind of people. By
What?
This kind of people. I mean,
I'm family
me.
friendly. I got family right here.
Also, it was Halloween. The great holiday where pumpkins come to life. Your little white house is painted green, and I fly through the night on my broom, cackling and hackling all the way home. I had a nice Halloween. I took some nice walks and looked at decorated spooky houses. And I decorated my own spooky house and handed out some candy to unsuspecting childrens. How was your all's Halloweens?
I ended up, I was supposed to have a kid-free Halloween, and then I had a non-kid-free Halloween, so I kind of had to throw it together at the last minute, but we went out to Tampa to my brother's house, and it was very nice. We saw some nice costumes, and, you know, all of the people out there were drinking like crazy. It was funny. Everywhere you went, it was like, here's one for the children, and would you like a Jell-O shot?
I did the same thing, yeah.
Something for your child, and have a Miller Lite. Here's
Did they
something for
go
your child, have a
trick-or-treating?
Stella. Yeah, yep.
Oh, that's fun. I
mean,
saw
all of mine
some
did,
cute
even
kids.
the older one.
Kids don't know how to open their bags at trick-or-treating. That was my one critique. I did wear the Kefka mask that listener Chief Hazard sent us because it's real creepy and fun to creep out the children with, especially if you don't say anything and go like do a lot of hand movements.
That sounds terrifying, actually.
Yeah, you gotta scare the kids. But they didn't open their bags. I'd be like, okay, I gotta just gotta open your bag a little
Yeah,
bit. so I
little
can put the
kids aren't great at that stuff.
Yeah. But there's some teeny tiny little kids in cute like Marvel costumes. They're so tiny, they're like little people.
Aren't
Just
they
like
adorable?
little people.
Yeah, I had this doll house that I got from some neighbors with boy children who did not want to play with it. And I spray painted it black and turned it into a little stand for the candy. And I mostly just sat in my house and let people take their own candy because I ain't going to be bothered staying outside all night. I have things to do.
Yeah,
I just
definitely
assume-
still was doing the table with like the bowl on it, and then just kind of sitting there and saying like, "Help yourself."
Yeah. And I did see some people taking good Halloween pictures with my dollhouse. So I was very proud.
Aw. I just assume that the second teenagers see a bowl of candy, they're just going to take the whole thing.
Yeah, well, once the
Definitely
sun
some
goes
of them
down,
did.
you don't leave it out after the sun goes down.
My daughter's mom had her candy bowl left out, and it was stolen by a roving group of preteens.
Oh.
Not shocking.
The preteens definitely came by, and they did take a bunch of candy, but not enough. I still have way too much for me to be able to eat, and nobody goes into the office anymore, so I don't know what I'm going to do. But they were all wearing inflatable costumes, and they were having japes and edgy jokes at each other. One of them said something like, "He's beating me up. He's beating my meat." And they were like, "Oh my God." And I was like, yeah, that's a joke we'd make on this show. Preteen level is about where we're at. But you know what? We're comfortable with that.
Matt's holding up a big bag of candy, I think.
Look
yeah,
at how
Matt
big
has
this
his
is.
children's candy that he has taken from them.
Yes, absolutely. This is legitimately like 20 pounds of candy. This is heavier than my cat.
That's a lot of candy.
That's one fucking bag. Here's the second one.
Whoa, he's
I mean,
got
it's
another one.
Yeah.
Matt,
I
eat
saw
one
something
whole
on
bag
Twitter
of
that
that
was like-
candy on the air during the episode, please. Matt,
No.
one bag of candy challenge.
I'm diabetic. I legit like I saw something on Twitter like on Halloween that was like, also fuck parents that ration candy, and I was like, you don't really know, do you? You don't really know. What are you supposed to do with 30 pounds of candy?
You make it into like a dump cake, I think.
Dump cake?
Yeah.
I forgot to level up and say that I was a witness at friends of the podcast, Josh and Julio's impromptu wedding.
When that wasn't the first thing you mentioned, like when that wasn't the first thing you mentioned, I was like, either John's waiting for that for last, which seems kind of offensive, or he just doesn't want to mention it on the air. But
or I just am tired and just woke up and forgot.
Also, just to say out to our listeners who may have heard Vanessa's suggestion of making some sort of cake out of their candy, and let me just tell you, give your candy to your school teacher friends so that they can take it to school. They'll appreciate it.
My final gaming news.
Yes, dump cake.
That's not a nickname I'm ever going to use for her. Okay.
It's only okay if I do it.
Yeah.
Actually, I have no idea
you
if
can
it's
get away with, I think, but I don't think I can. And I wouldn't try. I'm not that brave.
I got double penetrated.
What?
Oh.
Wow.
That's right.
Well,
2 shots,
congrats.
In the Square Roots house, Vanessa, where we
No.
all sleep.
Well, it
went
could
to
be
the
one of the wings that we aren't
pharmacy.
allowed into.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, don't we all have a sex dungeon wing? But that's not what I meant.
No.
She wouldn't be talking about that on the air.
No, my husbands are way too discreet for that. I went to the pharmacy and I got a COVID booster and a flu shot.
You have
That
to
was-
use the lion key on the shield door to get into my sex dungeon, and then for gyms, I think it's the ruby. You have to put into the statue and then push the statue.
No,
Sorry,
mine
you're
is
saying-
mine is the 3 dog heads you have to put on to the door.
My entire suite is a sex dungeon and is often spilling out into the main shared living space.
It
And they have
reeks.
started to give me
It
a lot.
reeks.
They
It
give me a lot of
reeks.
shit about it. I tell them we all got sex dungeons. They're like, ours is a little room. Yours is fucking 15 stories.
Speaking
Cut
of
that.
sex dungeons, I was
Cut this
called
episode.
out. on
How was
Facebook.
how was the shots? Did it
Oh,
hurt?
it was fine. No, not really. It was just about an hour, 2 hours ago. So we'll see if I start to become ill with side effects during this recording, but I don't think I will. I did get called out on the internet by a listener, Greg, for not.
I was just reading that.
Yeah, for not talking about how David Dastmalchian was in Dune. It's true. I overlooked. Well, I didn't overlook it. Obviously, I knew it and appreciated it very much. I didn't want to talk about it because it was sad for me because, number one, didn't have his floppy hair.
Yep.
Number two,
Or eyebrows.
or eyebrows. Yeah. And as much as I love him with hair a little bit more. I also wish he had been in it a little bit more. But
I wanted more Mentat stuff. There's only you got one scene of a Mentat doing a Mentat
I
thing.
think there's a couple, but I kind of agree with you. Like that, I think they made it visually interesting for the first time in the history of that series.
the Mentats?
Yeah, I thought that it really. Jim and I talked about it afterwards. I thought that it really visually kind of showed you what was going on without wasting a lot of time explaining it. Like the first thing that you get with a Mentat is like a math problem, and they're like eyes roll up in their head, and then they come back down, and they go like blah 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 is the answer, and that tells the viewer like, oh, this person is like a computer brain.
Did you, as a Dune superfan,
I'm a Dune superfan.
miss that they did not have blood red lips stained by the special juice that they do drink?
Oh, I forgot about
Or
that. No, that type of
mentally.
stuff is just. I saw some complaints about how it lacked some visual flair that I kind of agree with, but I don't miss the hokey 70s costumes.
Wasn't that in the book?
Yes, who cares? The book also is like hokey 60s costumes just written down. It's still hokey as fuck.
It is very CW Longbottomy.
Here's
That's
something I dislike.
Yes, that's a great. Did you? Never mind. Have you seen the flashback episode yet, Johnny?
I just got to that one, and then
In
my
season
laptop ran out of batteries.
All right, then I don't want to talk about it, but it's
Okay.
phenomenal. It's not. I don't want to talk about it. But it's very delightful. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Something I dislike is that I've seen.
How are you still leveling up?
I've seen some discourse around the Dune movie saying you can't
Doing
call it
drugs.
a white savior movie because this movie, if you read the full book and are aware of what happens later, it's not that. But you have to be able to judge a movie based on its own merits, don't you?
Right. It is a
Dune-
the series is a deconstruction of that trope, but
Yeah.
if you're just watching the first half of the first book, it sure would seem like it.
Well, I don't think you're wrong. Isn't Dune like one of the books that people talk about when they talk about the white savior thing? Like, is there any fucking doubt? Was that in doubt? That it's about a white savior? That's what it's about.
But it's not like in the later books, it's because he basically chooses violence.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
get
but
that.
I also I don't know if you can be like, well, later the author had more complex thoughts in sequel books, and I don't know if that's fair either.
I don't know that he was ever looking at I don't know that I've ever heard of anything Frank Herbert has had to say about the racial makeup of the characters outside of like how he borrowed from certain cultures and whatever. Like, but that stuff's pretty obvious, right? Mm-hmm. But like,
I don't know. I'm not.
I
into
agree with you that
knowledge.
it's definitely like but it is like it's like a white savior thing. Like it's.
Mm-hmm.
This is a long level up, guys.
Yeah, I'm
Who's out
done.
there?
I'm not saying that as a positive. I'm just saying that's what it is. Like, did we not know that going in?
All done.
Okay.
Quest log.
I haven't leveled up yet.
Yeah.
Neither have I.
Jim, how did you
Okay,
level
I'll
up?
go. I took my daughter, which this is something I want to say on the air. I went and saw the movie Antlers with my kiddo. Antlers is a horror movie that came out last Friday, that was supposed to come out last year, but was delayed due to COVID. It's finally out, and it's pretty good. It stars Kerry Russell and Jesse Plemons and a creepy kid, and I don't think this is a spoiler, it's about a Wendigo. They live in a small Oregon town, and a Wendigo happens, and it's a pretty creepy movie.
Wow,
How
Vanessa
does the
is
Wendigo
just
look?
twitching to talk now.
The Wendigo looks pretty great. I will say that the best part was the lead up to. In this movie, people can like transform into a Wendigo. Well, I guess that is what a Wendigo is. But I think the lead up to the transformation was more scary than the actual Wendigo, even though it did look pretty cool. Jesse Plemons was great in it. Kerry Russell was good in it. Graham Greene has some exposition parts. It's a good, not great, but good horror flick. If you're in the mood
If you're in the woods and you find yourself giving in to your instinct for cannibalism, well, you might become a Wendigo.
It's true. It was cool to see a Wendigo movie. It's based on a short story called The Quiet Boy that I think is available for free online if you want to be spooked. But check it out. Maybe in the theater when it hits streaming. It's a nice, cool little, very self-serious though, but good horror flick. Matt, how did you level up? Cool.
We have
All right.
we have talked about everything. Don't even fuck you. I leveled up by watching a trailer. Has anybody heard of a movie called Spine of the Night? Spine of Night. It's an animated
Spine the
rotoscoped
night.
movie
And fight the
that
break of
is
spine.
available to rent right now on like the online, like on the streaming services, and it looks fucking amazing. So if any listeners have any info on that, I want to know more. You know what I'm talking about? And
movie?
also, yep, Vanessa.
Well, you said that you wanted to know if I knew what you were talking about. It's a movie.
Called
Is what
Spider
you're
Night.
talking about.
Spine of the Night.
Spider Night.
Spider
And
Night.
I watched the trailer for it. It's got like a throwbacky, like Fire and Ice or like heavy metal looking, like rotoscoped animation style. And then the trailer was all like, ooh, like a heavy metal album come to life, like a throwback 80s crazy visual. Jim, one of the things that it said in the trailer for the thing was appointment viewing for the chemically impaired. So I think that's on my list of things that I want to watch really soon. Just I've had kids around, so and it does not look kid friendly. Also, I'm very interested in our listeners' thoughts on Fantasian, and Astria Ascending, and that Dungeons Encounters game for our upcoming year of votes and stuff. I'm interested in all of those, or for Patreon stuff.
Year of votes and stuff.
Yeah, whatever. And for upcoming Patreons, if anybody's played it, if anybody's got any interest in any of that new stuff, I'm really interested in maybe checking out something new and kind of modern and cool and talking about it on the show, and not these stodgy-ass old RPGs about boring stuff. And that's how I leveled up. Peace!
I played a little Fantasian. It looked neat.
Guys, let's talk about the quest log, the journey diary.
The
Wonder log.
Wonder log. Let's all venture over to the Wonder log. We'll go to Capuatorum and Carebrokerum.
I don't remember a lot of what happens in this chunker.
Let's refresh Jim's memory.
Yeah. Is Capuatorum the jungle place?
No, it's the city of the guilds.
Oh, that's right. This place is fine.
We were on a sinking ship in flames, and Yuri ran into the cabin after hearing banging on the door and went down with the ship.
And then?
My job is to say what happened last time.
I don't remember the end of this cutscene. How do you get out?
Another ship shows up.
Oh.
Is that what happens?
Honk, honk, it's us.
It's very quick. It's like, here's another ship, and now we're at the other port.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Another ship shows up. They're like, we are saving you. And then Yuri appears with the guy who he saved. And
oh, right. It's all how do you say his name?
His name
Yoder. Yes.
Oh, Yoder. Emperor Yoder or Prince Yoder or whatever.
Yoder.
Yeah.
Prince Yoder, heir to the throne.
Spelled with an I. You know, how Yoder's spelled.
Mm-hmm.
Like Yoderine. Yodine.
Mm-hmm.
I like the names of things in this game. Capuatorum is cool. Carebrokerum is cool. I like all the cool names that they give the inns.
Mm-hmm.
Cool names. Good job, game. Good job naming stuff.
Good at the name game.
Mm-hmm.
So you are rescued by the mysterious Flynn.
Yeah,
Is he mysterious?
He's
What's
like
mysterious
he's
about
like
him?
the most shallow character in the game.
He's not that mysterious. Annoying Twink Flynn.
Who is mysterious is our friend Estelle. She knows Yoder. She's like, what's up, Yoder? And he's like, oh, what's up, Estelle? And this, I believe, is when she finally comes clean about her whole deal.
Which Yuri already knew.
Yeah,
Yuri figured it out.
because she was living in the palace. But she's so to explain, like, it seems like there's two branches of government. There's the empire, or there's the knights who have their little power central, and then there's the empire, right?
And the council.
There's the knights
Oh,
and the
then
council.
the council. Knights and the council. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate this stuff. It's so boring.
Oh,
It's all this palace intrigue stuff. Just not my thing.
You know I love this palace intrigue stuff.
yeah.
So
I love it when
there's
it's good.
the knights who represent the military power, and there's the council that represent the nobility. And the emperor has died, and both of these separate factions have candidates who they would like to see become the next emperor. Those candidates are this Yoder fellow, who is supported by the knights, and
Support
Estelle.
you, I will.
Estelle, who is supported by the council.
The-
They haven't decided which one will become emperor yet.
Estelle doesn't seem super interested in staying in a castle and being an empress.
No, and she also implies that Yoder has a more direct claim to the throne through lineage, and she's just sort of a distant relation of the family.
Right. But she's magical.
But she's magical.
is
That's the
magical.
difference. Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
she's supported by the council.
Yeah, the council, but with everyone we've met from the council so far, real sucks. It's like Barbos, and he's a jerk. Does he have a golden eye?
Golden eye,
It's so pink and smelly.
Golden eye, no leather lace.
I thought he had an octopussy, but I didn't see a golden eye.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay. You mean he has 8 cats?
Yeah. He's got a backpack
No, he's a
with 8
pirate.
cats.
He's got an octopus.
Oh. And
What would you
there's
call a pet octopus? If not your octopussy.
Squiddly? Slithers?
Well, that's a great answer.
Boy, no, it's not.
Woodley.
That's like calling your cat dog. That's mean.
So Flynn rescues them and takes them to Capua Torum, the other side of the water. Yuri then sees everyone's favorite little scamp, Raven.
That's so Raven.
It is. And Raven informs you. So we're basically, you might be confused as to what you're doing in this game because a lot of times it's not super clear. We're going after the Blood Alliance because that's who stole the Aqua Blastia.
I disagree. I think it is pretty clear. Like, that's all Yuri talks about. Every time shit's going on, he's like, that's cool, but I'm going after the Blood Alliance. Mm-hmm. And particularly Barbos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the Blood Alliance went to Care Bokrum.
Well, Raven says that some colorfully dressed folks were seen heading, like, to the north or something, or the west. And then it is, I think, what's his name? It's Carol, whom for some reason my son has decided is named Coral. He yells it every time I'm playing the game. It's charming. Anyway, I think it's Carol that says, "Oh, they must have gone to Kerbakram. I know all about it. It was a town that was destroyed in an earthquake a long time ago." Because Carol is an exposition machine, which is helpful.
He is.
He's
He's
smart.
the most worldly of our characters.
Yeah. He does know about things outside of Books, and he knows where things are and what happened.
I think Rita seems pretty worldly.
Yeah, that's true.
Raven's pretty worldly.
Yeah, that is
Raven
also true.
is very worldly, but he's mysterious, and Rita is worldly about her particular area of knowledge, but not, sort of an all-around encyclopedia like Carol.
Well, that's true. They're all pretty young.
Carol doesn't really seem to know a lot about monsters either for somebody in a monster hunting guild.
No, he knows more about, guild politics.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to learn here pretty soon about that, but we shouldn't dive into it yet. But so they tell us we decided to go to Kerbakram and go there. And did anybody have a hard time finding this? Because I did. It's in the middle of a forest, and it's green and overgrown. I'm having a tough time with this world map for some reason.
I just wandered around and I saw a weird looking patch of forest and I was like, that's gotta be it.
Yeah.
Now, this is the jungle place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know where you are?
It's called Enchanted Forest or something like that.
Did you guys
Emerald Forest. It's called the Emerald Forest.
Did you guys fight the Giganto monster or whatever that's in this forest?
It's in the jungle place.
It's in the notes.
Why are y'all lying to Jim?
Oh,
this
is this
not the jungle place?
Oh, this is not the jungle
Earthquake
place.
Town.
What's the Earthquake Town?
Well, this one has
Chungus.
Oh no, this one doesn't have the secret boss.
I didn't find any
jungle
secret bosses.
jungle place does. Oh,
Yeah,
I found 2 or 3 of them.
That's
Oh,
Cave
man.
Mock.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
This is Kerbakram.
Kerbakram.
Anyway, so once we get there, we run into the first person we see. Obviously, is Nan,
Nan,
who is
a little
we've
girl.
seen her before. She's a young lady. I wouldn't call her a little girl.
She looks like she's the one who looks like Tira from Soul Calibur. She's got that circle.
Yeah,
that
the
half
big circle
moon.
blade thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty fun. And she warns us
thinks
to.
Carol sucks.
Well,
Yes.
first she warns us to beat it. She's like, "Y'all suck, and y'all got to go now." But then she immediately gets into a childish argument with Carol about what a dummy he is or whatever.
Yeah, she's like, "You're fired from the guild," and he's like, "Why?" And she says it's because he ran away like a little baby coward. And
Well, I think she says, "Yeah."
he says that he did not. He went to fight the egg bear. And she's like, "I don't care. You suck."
And she doesn't believe him, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
no, he really did do it. But she's like, whatever. So
She
I
talks
guess,
about how he ran away again. Like, that's a thing that he does.
yeah, and that he's been in a million guilds, and
Yeah.
we're the bottom of the bag, bottom of the barrel.
But we're not a guild yet.
Yeah. So I guess this is the girl that he's trying to impress. That's what I read into this situation, because he does seem to be trying to impress a lady, and she. I gotta tell you, Carol, I don't think she likes you. I think you should move on. I think this is a bad match.
Maybe she's just
Carol-
nagging him to like get his confidence down so she can date him.
I don't think
Carol-
so.
Seems to be about 10.
I know, but he likes her, right? And so I'm kind of telling him, you're not ready for all this,
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, why
Yeah.
don't you chill out?
Yeah.
Keep it in your pants.
Ugh.
Start a guild with Yuri.
So this town is one big puzzle, basically, right?
Yes.
You gotta use these gates to shoot yourself around.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it doesn't lead you anywhere interesting. Sometimes it points you towards a treasure. You gotta start it up by finding a battery.
They call them it's teleport blastia, so I guess it's teleporting you, but it does seem to just encase you in a bubble and fire you, and you can choose the direction, but really there's only one direction, and the other directions might lead to treasure, but probably lead to sending you backwards.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. There is a room midway up that has a second basement with a door in it that you can't mess with yet, but as you wander around here, you start to find these password
I think
pieces.
you need to. I feel like you need to check that room first and then find the passwords. Or I didn't start finding the passwords until after I tried the door. But yeah, you need to find these. And the passwords are just clues. Mm-hmm. They're like light.
It's big
sphere.
sky light.
This is
That's what it is.
It's a baby puzzle.
I figured it out all by myself.
Great.
I did.
Like the hints are basically like the big light ball in the sky.
I figured it out too.
So I think I probably spent way too long in this one. I think because the last piece, I thought there was more puzzle pieces I had to find, even though I could have done it earlier. But basically, in the first set of houses, they unlock for some reason. At first, those doors are locked, and I thought it would tell me when they're unlocked. But later on, you can find a clue there. But it turns out the clue's not that necessary, because it's very, very obvious what the answer is. It's sun.
I think
Yeah,
you have to
if
have all
you-
3 puzzle pieces
Oh,
to
okay.
operate the box or whatever.
If you take the
Block.
time to go into all the houses and stuff, there's a lot of neat stuff. You'll find weapons for every character in this place.
Wow.
Some
Yeah,
armor,
I
too.
like that they're not all in chests either. They're in
Yeah.
bookshelves and tables. Like whenever there's bottles on a table, usually you'll find a potion or something. And I had fun walking around here. I probably spent an hour or two in this town, not grinding, but just kind of wandering around as if I was addled by some kind of chemical haze.
Yeah, that's fun. So what happens? We unlock the door. We head downstairs.
And it's you go down this big windy staircase and open the door. And you go into this vault, and in this big vault you find the other Monster Hunter Guild people.
Yeah, the hunting blades
Hunting
are already
blades.
down here, and they are. So what we see is, I think,
They're
a
Team
Blastia.
Rocket, right?
Yeah, they
seem-
are.
Yeah.
There's a Blastia that we want to fuck with, but they're like, no way. There's a barrier holding this humongous monster in underground.
And the second this happens, that dragon is going to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the you find the dragon guy's whole deal seems to be throwing his spear at Blastia. So if you come upon a big Blastia, which if I still don't really understand what a Blastia is, but every time somebody says a Blastia, you know that there's probably going to be a dragon from this point forward.
Yeah. So they start heckling Carol. There's like a beefy guy. There's the girl. There's another one. I don't remember all the members of the hunting guild, but they don't like Carol.
No,
And
they're
then
just like, meh, Carol, meh, Carol.
And then they are interrupted by a dragon rider. And suddenly
Who could
we
have
aren't.
foreseen this?
Yes. Suddenly you aren't protected by that Blastia anymore because the dragon rider does throw their spear at the Blastia and break it. And then you are forced into a fight. Is this the scorpion fight that I had problems with?
No.
That was the next one. Right.
Yeah, this is the dreaded giant.
Oh,
this
that's
was
right.
fighting this boss was the first time I got one of those like secret missions where he was doing something and I knocked him over and then it says great job or whatever.
Great.
You start out with just Yuri in this fight because there's been sort of a little
Yeah.
earthquake, and then other characters jump to join in, but not Carol. He sucks.
Nope. Well,
Oh
we
yeah,
also-
this kind of made me hate Carol.
he's a
We
child.
we were also suffering from like air poisoning. Air being like mana in this game, I think.
AER.
Yeah, air poisoning. And because it was too dense down where we were. But once the Dragon Rider showed up and blew up the Blastia, we all got better. And we fight this dreaded giant. And he's much smaller on the screen than he was. He was the size of Godzilla, and now he is the size of a T-Rex. But okay, I'll take it.
This was a pretty easy boss fight for me. And Vanessa notes in the notes that Ken is useless. Vanessa, once again, his name is Carol.
I get him so confused with that other little boy.
This was a fun fight. He got these two big arms that do smash down and make a attack. But this is another one of the bosses where it's very easy to run behind him and then hit him from behind, where you do a lot more damage and don't take as many hits.
So we defeat the monster, and he goes dead, and then we basically run back upstairs to look for Carol and also, whatever, to get out of there. And Carol's talking to Nan again. They're, like, arguing, but we don't really get any information, which is frustrating. And then guess who shows up? That's right,
Who?
your boy,
Kumore.
More.
Yay!
Come more.
When the jizz hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's Kumore.
Come more.
No, I got it. And he's like,
I kind of accidentally
hello.
skipped this one. Like, I hit the button, I sat on it.
This
And-
is the cutscene and section I had to do 4 or 5 times because I kept dying at the next tutorial battle.
Oh no!
With this game needs some continues so bad. It does not. This game does not have continues. It is
yeah.
You load your save game or else. And
Well, so they arrest us, basically. Just for everything we've done, and because we have Estelle with us, and yada, yada, yada. So they take us in, and they take us to the city of Heliord.
and this is sort of a big castle town.
Yeah, it's a new town that they say was built just a few years ago, so it's still, like, new. And when we kind of come back to the story, we have the guys that we hate from the beginning of the game, the tutorial guys, are there, and they're reading a list of Yuri's crimes, which is great. And then their boss comes in and tells them that we've been pardoned and that they have to let us go. It's great.
Well, and we're sort of being shuffled between. So you sort of find out that there's different groups. Like Kumore's got his groups, and then there's like Flynn's groups.
The Flynn Brigade.
And so when we get transferred to the other brigade, then there's like this one guy. It keeps cutting to this one guy who's watching us. You know who I'm talking about? He's like another.
Yeah, he works for somebody else, right?
Who are you talking about?
He's just watching from like the shadows. You always see like his. You only
Arm.
see his. I forget his name too. He was just like.
Is he the white-haired guy or no?
It's not Sephiroth. It's not.
No,
okay.
not the white-haired guy. That's Duke something or other.
Yeah, just Duke. He just goes by
Duke.
Duke.
Dukey.
But there's another guy who I think is the leader of Flynn's squad or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a military organization. How
Yeah.
does this not make sense to you?
It's fine.
I just don't know who he is.
Yeah, we haven't really got introduced to him yet.
Who are we talking about?
There's like another leader, and he's been like watching us. I think he's like got short gray hair. Is that right? Vanessa, do you know who I'm talking about? Okay, great. At any rate, so Estelise goes to hang out with Yoder, and this is where we are informed that we're pardoned of all our crimes because she's a princess and she's got princessy stuff to do. So you walk outside, and then you can talk to Yoder, who is hanging out with Flynn. And Flynn's like, you gotta calm down and stop making crimes. And Yoder's like, hey, what's up, buddy? Thanks for saving me. And then you get into a fight with Bukor and Blacknet.
Yeah, them too. They're like,
These
we're
guys.
really salty that you got let go, and now you have to fight us. And
So
Yuri's
they're-
like, fine.
They are
They
right
teach you
in
how to do their like secret strike thing, or like final strike, which is pretty great. No, it's
So-
not, maybe that's not this.
Yeah, it's the
This is the blast art, right?
This
Or
is
no?
the
Yes.
overdrive. This is the overdrive thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Overdrive 2, not.
No, level 1 because you get level
There's
2.
too many. No, this isn't the first Overdrive. We already had Overdrive.
Yeah,
No,
this is. I thought this was the blast art thing.
Oh,
No,
you're right.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blast Art.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I don't know how to use.
I've
don't
been
ever
using
use
it. And so here's the thing. I'm playing on regular difficulty. I died in this tutorial 4 times.
A lot, yeah.
And then you have to go. There's no. They are standing in front of the save point. It triggers this fight before you can save. So you have to go through all these stupid cutscenes over and over. In the end, I had to open up my packet of gels that I got from the DLC. And I didn't want to touch any of that DLC stuff, but I was like, I don't want to keep doing this fight. You either have to do it perfectly, or because I used all my items at the dreaded giant boss fight, so I had no items left, and it's just Flynn, and Flynn can't heal himself. So if you don't have healing magic, and these guys
Yuri?
do tons of, Yuri. If you don't have healing magic, then Yuri is pretty weak, and these guys hit really, really hard. If there's a trick to it, I did not understand the trick. This was just super hard boss fight. You have to basically try and isolate them one at a time. And
Yeah, I did notice that if you started attacking one, the other one would come and hit you from the side. You really had to like stick and move.
yeah,
It'd be
I
nice
don't.
to have like a dodge roll.
Yeah, it feels like like your block is too slow, so you can't
Yes.
like hit the
Yeah.
button
Well, I think
and
you're supposed
block.
to use your back. I think you're supposed to use that back step, but I'm not good at pulling that one off. for some
Yeah,
reason.
that one doesn't work very. I don't know.
I just unequipped that one because I could never get it to work.
Well, you got to hit them at the same time. I think it's not.
Yeah, you hold
It's not
block
back
and then
then.
backwards.
It's not Y then back or back
Yeah.
then Y. It's you got to. Bam. Anyway, breaking news, guys. Squid Game knockoff Crab Game blows up on Steam and Twitch. What do y'all think about that? Give me a hot take. Give me a hot take.
I'm just hearing about it now for the first time.
What? That's no shit. That's why I want a hot take.
I don't know enough about it to have a take.
I
It's
don't know.
Polygon says it's the closest we'll get to a proper Squid Game video game for now.
Okay. It sounds like it could be fun. Y'all see that some people made a cryptocurrency called Squid, inspired by Squid Game, and people bought it, and then the makers of it, who were anonymous, did steal $3.3 million and run away.
Wasn't it billion?
No.
How could it
not
be
that
billion?
much.
No.
The one thing that I have noticed about people that are super into crypto is that they're super touchy about it, which I find very annoying. Anyway, back to Heliord. We fight frickin' Frack, and then the next day, we decide to go check out the town's Blastia, and also Yuri's like moping around because now they're gonna take Estelle back to Estelle's agreed to go back to the capital, and
I feel like this is the first of like 5 times this happens in the game where they're like,
Yeah.
all right, Estelle's going to leave. And then at the last minute, she's like, oh no, what if I actually stayed?
Yeah,
This
what if I-
happens
ooh,
over and over and over
Ooh,
again.
What if I stayed, though? Well, it doesn't happen right here. What happens here is we decided to go check out the Towns Blastia, which is like a huge rod in the earth.
it
It's
is.
gigantic. Yeah, I don't know why they're all different and all
I don't know
shaped
either. That's why
completely
it's so
differently.
confusing. Because like they'll point
Yeah.
at something that looks like a piece of like modern art or a control panel or something and be like, that's a Blastia. It's
Yeah.
like, why does it look so much different than the other?
Well,
one?
the Blastia cores are all circles.
Yeah, the cores are all circles.
They're just little
The cores
circles.
are like the processors, and the Blastias are like the computer case. You can put
Yeah.
it in whatever you want.
Yeah.
So if you want to make it into a giant rod that sticks out of the ground,
yeah,
a million
big
miles.
rod. Cool.
Anyway, so the Towns Blastia is making some like weird noises, and of course Rita wants to check it out, and we like get into like an argument with the captain guys again. Is it Cumore? It's not. It's the other one that John was talking about, I think.
Yeah.
Hang on, I've got.
Glorf. Alexei? Is that Alexei?
Yes, it's Alexei.
Who's Alexei?
Alexei's the one that's like is like Estelle's handler after this. He's the one that allows her to go, and then I think we run into him again.
Oh, he was the one that taught her how to do swords, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was her trainer, her arms master or whatever she calls him.
Oh, like in Dune, when Paul Atreides and he's got
And
Jason Momoa.
Glyph.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, I think
Or
you're
what's
the
that
best,
soldier
and-
guy's name?
Yeah, and then
Glorp.
he
Glorp.
goes off to the desert, and they replace him with Patrick Stewart, who plays
Patrick
the
Stewart?
lute and reads poetry. Look, I'm getting my first and second movies confused. I'm not going to apologize for it. It's the same movie.
Who played the Patrick Stewart character? He played Gurney, right?
Yes.
Gurney. I thought it was Glorp.
And that was Gurney is Josh Brolin, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. You know what? Patrick Stewart, better casting.
What? Patrick Stewart is old.
Yeah, he's
What
He's
are you
supposed to
talking
be an
about?
arms master. He's not supposed to be a fucking
But he's
young,
still
hot
supposed to be
warrior,
able
dude.
to like swing a sword. Patrick Stewart is a frail old man.
First of all, he was
wasn't when
not
the movie was
old
made.
in 1984
That's
when
true.
they made the movie.
Yeah. This was
He
pre
was
I thought you
Star
meant.
Trek.
Trek.
I thought you meant Patrick Stewart as Dune in the 2021 Dune.
Yeah,
or not
Patrick
as Dune.
Stewart
He's not
as
playing the
Dune in
Dune. He's not playing the
2021
Dune.
Dune.
Yeah,
Patrick Stewart as
the
Gurney.
titular Dune.
You gotta watch
Take my spice.
Claudius to see Patrick Stewart in a sexy wig.
Eat my spice. Who can do a Patrick Stewart impression? Do it and have him say, what is it? Make it so. Eat my spice.
Make
That's-
it so. Eat my spice.
Yes.
Yeah.
That famous Dune quote, "Eat
Yep.
my
That
spice."
famous Dune quote that the Dune says when he's like,
Yep.
eat my spice. Desert
Oh,
power. My spice.
Dune be a better book and or movie if the planet was sentient?
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
I bet the
Didn't Josh
worms were a
Brolin
really cool
play
idea
a sentient
in
planet? No, that was someone else.
No,
No,
that was
that was-
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Ego. Right?
Kurt Russell, maybe a better Gurney.
Oh.
Kurt
Wow.
Russell's pretty good.
Yeah,
I
he's
got news
fun.
for you. Kurt Russell, replace any actor in any movie with Kurt Russell, and you've got a better movie. Male, female, animated, anything. It doesn't matter. Like you just
Kurt Russell should have been
Mary Poppins,
Paul.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell
Okay?
should have been Paul Atreides.
Die
It's
Hard,
funny
Kurt
because he's
Russell.
obviously older than Oscar Isaac.
Kurt Russell should have played every character in the movie Dune.
Yep.
Kurt Russell's one-man show, Dune.
27
One-man
dresses
stage play.
starring Kurt
Dune.
Russell.
Who is it that played the Baron Harkonnen?
That was Stellan
It's,
Skarsgård.
Oh, that's
Stellan
right.
Skarsgård. We don't,
So-
see a lot of him either. Also, he's not super fat.
Yeah, well, there is because he's.
But I
you
guess
know,
I kind of get that.
Like they were playing, I think he had to pad himself up, and he was talking about how difficult doing all the makeup and looking grotesque was. And then Guy Branum, who is a gay commentator that I really like, I think he's super cool, was like, yeah, isn't it so weird when they make non-fat people play fat characters, and they always talk about how weird and gross it is to be fat? And because he was annoyed by that. And then like all of gay Twitter was like, oh, but Baron Harkonnen's not gay. Oh, and also Baron Harkonnen is queer-coded because in the books, at least, he does have sex with boys and then murders them and their children.
We might see that in the next one.
Oh, wow. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, it's an important part of the movie to establish like what a piece of shit he is.
So there was, he's saying you couldn't have got an actual gay fat man to play this character. You had to get a straight guy to pretend to be gay and fat. And then lots of queer Twitter is like, yeah, but he's a disgusting rapist. He's not gay. And watching them fight was real weird.
Yeah, there's nobody's really right there, unfortunately, in my perspective. I will say, they didn't make him super fat, and like, I guess I can kind of see like, it's a bit like he's the evil character, and to have him be like grotesquely fat in 2021 is probably going to feel fat shaming, right? Like, I don't know how else to phrase that really, but I guess it makes sense to still have him be like a heavy guy so that it makes sense and he's still true to the character, but not a like hilarious blob, like the Dune 2000 that played it for a joke.
Yeah,
and I'm
where
sure
he looked like fat bastard.
Dune 84 did as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they play it for a joke over and over there too.
Yeah, and he's got oozing pustules all over his face, and then
I don't really need that in my Dune 2021. More color, I think, would have been good. Just that's the only thing. Just like you telling me that those people don't wear colors? People wear colors all the time.
Are you outraged about the gender swap of the...
No. Never outraged about a gender swap. Who fucking cares?
So, back
listen,
to...
if you like swap out like a woman who's supposed to get pregnant in the story with a dude, then maybe I would be like, oh no.
Rita
the
is...
whole episode.
Looking at the Blastia. What I like is she gets like a magic keyboard that comes up when she's like trying to work the Blastia.
She gets a cool touchscreen thing.
It's like they're cars, and she's got the computer that you can plug into the car that only the mechanic has.
Oh, the OBD2 diagnostic unit. Yeah.
Do you wish you had one of those, Johnny?
I mean, you can get an adapter for your phone for like $40. It's really not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't it used to be really hard to get something like that? But
yeah,
these days it's
not hard to get.
We live in the future now.
Yeah, exactly.
The poor, ignorant, desperate, sad, depressing future.
So the Blastia is starting to malfunction, and Rita's like, I gotta save it, and everyone's running away because like the Blastia is gonna Blastia, and then everyone's they do call it Blastia. How are they not going to know that it's going to explode? That's what I don't understand.
But she doesn't mind getting blasted.
That's true. And then Estelle's like, I gotta save her, and everyone's like, no. So the Dragon Rider shows up here, but but it was already malfunctioning before the Dragon Rider showed up, right?
Yes, it was unstable. It seems
it was. Wasn't like it rumbling from time to time, and then it had a big rumble.
Yeah.
But Rita does. They do. I think they drive off the Dragon Rider this time, right? So the Dragon Rider does not shatter it.
They're like, get the heck out of here. Well, like everybody's there. The Flynn troops are there, and Kimura's there with his guys.
Yeah.
There's just too many people for the Dragon Rider to deal with.
Yeah. And so they Estelle's going there, and there's like a big flash, but everyone's fine. Although I think that Estelle and Rita do have to like have a little bit of a lie down, because they're at first Estelle's like, we need to get her a bed, and Flynn's like, I think we need one for you too. You are just as wiped out and exhausted as she is.
Mm-hmm. And they do get put to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Estelle wakes up first and is all about Rita.
Yeah, she's just well, you know how it's kind of like in the game too, like when you're playing the fights, she just keeps casting the same spell over and over on Rita instead of healing some of the other people who maybe need healing. And well, normally she's casting it on Yuri, but whatever.
Holy power, come to me. First aid. Holy power, come to me.
Vanessa did watch me fight Giga Larva for 15 minutes or so, and she does shout that about 20 times.
Holy power, come to me. First aid.
So they decide to go to Kaiv Mok because there's a Blastia there that Alexei thinks is connected to the Dragon Rider. Is that right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Connected to something? What do you mean connected, Vanessa?
I didn't write these notes, sir.
Oh, okay. So Alexei does want Rita to go to Cave Mok and check out Blastia there, and Estelle's like, I'm gonna come along too. And then Yuri's like, well, how about I go with both of you? And they're like, okay, so we're going to keep traveling together yet again, even though they once again said that they're going to go somewhere else. But to get to Cave Mok, you do have to go through Dawngrest, the city of guilds.
Doesn't the Dragon Rider show up and peek at them when they're on their sick bed?
On their sick bed?
That happens, right? Like, they're in the hotel room and the Dragon Rider, like, comes to the window and is like, hello!
I don't remember that.
Flies away. Maybe I made that up.
Sounds like a dream you had.
You get to the city of guilds. It's got a Blastia in there. Everyone's like, this Blastia is so great. Nothing ever bad's going to happen to our Blastia. Don't you love our Oh, no, our Blastia failed.
Yeah, and then there's like, oh no, all these monsters are coming in, and then you got to go fight a thing at the Blastia.
Mm-hmm. You do get all these monsters flowing in. You got Don Whitehorse, a big beefy man, is there with his big broad chest just full of scars. And he's like, yeah, you guys are helping us fight these monsters. That's great. And you do go to the Blastia. There's a dead guard there. This one does look like a jukebox.
It does. It looks like a jukebox. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty great. And then we do get attacked by assassins.
Yeah.
Oh, there's like the red eye guys.
The red
right?
eye guys. Yeah. Yeah.
They're kind of wiggly. They're sort of like shadows from the Kingdom Hearts series.
Yeah. They
They're
drop
Voldos.
they drop good synthesis things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff they drop is used in crafting upgraded. You know how each character has an item, like a book or a bag or whatever. They drop stuff that you need to upgrade some of that stuff.
What's your item?
What?
Like, if everyone has an item, what's yours?
Oh, my glasses.
Cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Johnny?
Didn't I say that it was a burrito last time?
Yeah.
Burrito. You're just carrying around a burrito?
Yep, that's accurate. I do like burritos. What about yours, Vanessa?
Mine's my phone.
Oh. Well, that's a good one, too. Then could mine be a Switch? Because I do carry that around a lot.
A
Or like a
Nintendo
Vita.
Switch or like a long stick for
A
swatting
Nintendo
people
Switch
with?
or a PlayStation Vita. Those would be, or whatever the current model is. So you do go.
You can upgrade it to an OLED Switch.
At this point, you try and see Don Whitehorse like 5 times and keep getting turned away. And it's real annoying. So like, well, we can't see Don Whitehorse right now. So let's go to Cave Mok, which is that jungle level that Jim was talking about.
This is the jungle level with the Giganto monster.
Mm-hmm. Is that the Green Menace?
Yes.
So I
You
didn't fight. I didn't fight this guy. I'll have to go back.
Yeah, you got to look around. These guys are just hanging out on the map. Like, there's not a special encounter that triggers or anything. They're on the map like any old monster, but they're big old.
Wait, is he inside the dungeon?
Yes, he's inside the dungeon. I think he's on like the right-hand side. Like, you have to go and kind of veer right, and you'll run into him.
So this is just it's not it seems like it's way more tricky than it is. I don't know. It seemed like there's a lot of chests and stuff I couldn't get to. So I don't know if you go back here or I just missed like an obvious path.
Yeah, I experienced the same thing. Like, there were a lot of chests, or not a lot of, but a few that were behind like bushes that I couldn't find a way to cut through. I tried using my magic ring on them and that didn't work.
Yeah, I didn't know how to get there. So well, I'll go back and see if I can fight this secret boss, because I want to fight all those secret bosses.
Yeah.
But you do get to the very end, and then you do fight a Giga Larva, which this is the boss that took me 15 minutes, because if you're playing on normal difficulty, he does drink. There's little puddles, or I guess little ponds in the battle arena, and if you let the boss go to them, he will put his little scorpion head tail into the water and refill his entire health bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you have to like make sure he doesn't go near those or kill him very quickly. And I didn't realize he was healing himself. I was like, why is he taking so long to kill? I'm doing tons of damage. Like I was doing the that bonus blast, whatever that was called, the one that you get after overdrive. I was doing that, and then I was also doing like the final finisher, and it wasn't killing him. I was doing lots of those final finishers. At least it was a good way to practice, but it took me way too long, and I used all my items again.
I switch my setting on my characters to like basically ask for permission to use an item. You don't have to. I don't press a button to stop them. I press the button to let them.
Yeah, I've got it there too. It's just that like if you're fighting for 15 minutes, you're going to go through all your items basically. I defeated this jerk, and there is another spring of air coming out of a tree.
Yeah, it's like in the middle of like a grove, like a tree grove. And it's like some kind of, they call it an air crane, which is just a big deposit of thick air. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what an air crane is, right? Vanessa,
sure.
Do you know?
They talk about it.
Crane.
Yeah, that was what was in the town, right? That they had a hard time walking through.
It's like
it
thick air.
Woozy.
They call it a crane, air crane.
Yeah,
Whatever.
It's like a super concentration of magic, and it makes you pass out.
And it looks like they're all going to pass out again from this air grenade, but then Duke shows up.
It's like Mako energy in Final Fantasy VII.
And Duke is like the Sephiroth. I think he's the guy that we called Sephiroth before.
Yeah, he's got a cool sword and white hair. Wait, so if an air crane is like Mako in Final Fantasy VII, does that make Blastia like materia?
Yeah.
And so when they say, I've got a Bodhi Blastia, it's like having some kind of like attack materia?
Yes.
Ah, cool. I get it now.
So Duke seems like he's almost like Dr. Manhattaning around, where he's like, yes, doesn't really concern me. This isn't my fight. Especially more towards the end of this chunker, he does say that again.
Yeah, he's very cryptic. Shows up, does some cool magic sword stuff to the air crane, and then pieces out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to talk to you.
Rita wants to know what he did because she's very interested in like the physics of it, but he's like, whatever. You wouldn't understand. What good would it do for me to tell you? I'm like, wow, what a dick answer. She is like a scientist and wants to know what you're doing. And then Don Whitehorse shows up and he's like, hey, everybody, with his big, broad chest. And I just keep staring at. And then he challenges Yuri to a fight that I lost in like 3 seconds. I was like, okay, I'll just try. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, I think you can beat this, but maybe not on a first playthrough. It has to be your new game class, and you have to do really good job.
Mm-hmm. I fought this guy for a while. It didn't seem like it was doing any good, so I just stopped trying and let him kill me.
Mm-hmm. So now we head back to...
think, Johnny,
Yeah?
that there was some erotic undertone beneath his desire to fight young, strapping men whenever he found them.
I mean, you can certainly interpret that. That he wants, like, he's like, you have a warrior's spirit. I want to test you on my sexy self. Maybe. So you head back to the Don's. I guess he does invite you back to his place. So you go back to the Don's place, and Flynn is like, "Oh, I got this letter from Yoder saying how we want to all the unions to unite against the blood. What are they called? The Blood Pact, the Blood Guild, the Blood Bloods, and
The Blood Alliance.
Yeah, the Blood Alliance." And this letter says how we are all to be besties and everything's great and we love you. And Don's like, "Oh, well, that sounds like a lovely letter. Let me read this letter." The letter's like, "You're stupid. You have a tiny little boy penis.
Yeah, that's...
Take
it's
out
like,
your little boy
we
penis.
can stay
in front of
together,
everyone."
but I'll never respect you.
Yeah. We hate the Don. Get rid of him.
And his
Blood
tiny
Alliance
penis.
rules. Blood Alliance forever. Down with the Don.
Yeah. And Don's like, "Well, that's it. We're going to fight the Empire. Come on, everybody. It's fighting time." But he's like a little coy about it. He's a little like, wink. And Flynn does get locked up because he's told, because Don says that he wants to arrest him. And Yuri does trade places with him eventually. You go talk to Flynn in his cell, and Yuri's like, "Okay, you go talk to Yoder and go get a new letter, a new better letter. I'll stay here in your
Yoda.
place." Yeah.
Yoda's fine.
Yeah,
Pardoned you are.
exactly.
Emperor I shall be.
And then since he's in a cell, Raven's like, "Well, he's in a cell." Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about Raven joining the party in the jungle, did we?
Yeah, he joins the party. He decides to tag along. He says he's lonesome and nobody believes him.
So I did, because I was streaming the whole part in the jungle, I did decide to dress everyone in different outfits because I downloaded all those DLC outfits. And at first I dressed Yuri like a nu metal fan. And that was pretty great with like a tank top and long baggy jeans. And then I decided to put him into Ziggy Stardust gear, which I think more suits his personality. And then all my audience of my stream did tell me to make Raven wear as little as possible.
Who would do such a thing?
Everyone. The entire stream wanted me to dress. I don't know why.
Wow, they must be so embarrassed. What silliness.
It wasn't just you, Vanessa, if you remember.
I remember. It was everyone.
Yeah, everyone wants.
Give the people what they want.
And that, Matt, did you dress anyone up in some fun outfits?
No, I haven't messed with any of that.
I put Rapide into a baseball uniform, which is pretty fun.
That's cute.
Yeah. And that has more questions about bathroom time for Rapide.
I prefer him to wear pants.
I guess you don't want to see his butthole the entire time.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, we have cats. We know what that's like. I did make Carol wear that Dragon Quest gold armor. That was pretty fun.
That's cool.
Made Rita wear like some other character's cool explorer outfit. I got Estelle into a spa masseuse outfit where she had like this high-tech visor. It looked very silly. And then I changed her to a different, I guess these are all based on different Tales protagonists, all these outfits. So I did make her into a different princess outfit, which was good. And, Carol I put into the armor, and Robin shirtless. Not Robin, Raven shirtless.
No, Robin Thicke.
Yeah, Robin Thicke. So that was a lot of fun. So Raven shows up once again shirtless. The entire crowd goes, "Ooh!" Ooh, when Raven shows up and does his catchphrase, he's like, yo, hey.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like, he hits the jukebox and it starts playing.
The Blastia.
And then he's also like,
It's a Blastia,
the Blastia starts playing, and then he's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, and then he combs his little hair back. He's like, yeah.
Can
Everyone.
we talk for just a moment about the
That's all we've
outfits
been
we
doing.
didn't choose?
Okay.
Like, Carol has an outfit called Towel Fan.
Yeah. I'm not dressing Carol up in a towel.
Yeah, it's just a towel.
Mm-hmm.
The girls have some highly sexualized outfits. Estelle's verge more on the cute side, like kitty girl and little maid and cutie pie. And then
Rita's is like
Rita-
cat girl maid,
yeah,
cat girl waitress,
and like sexy witch with a very deep V neck front.
school girl.
They all have some sort of school uniform outfit. Although Carol's in the school uniform series, I believe, is the lunch lady uniform, which is pretty hilarious.
That did make me laugh.
So, it's Japanese. What are you going to do?
I do like that all this DLC was free. I mean, it came with the game. You just have to download
Yeah,
it.
I appreciated that as well.
Yeah.
And I did accidentally synthesize some very powerful weapons, but I didn't use the level up gels.
The only thing I used was that one pack of gels because I ran out and kept dying. So all it did was just add some healing items. That's fine.
There is one friend who I believe did use the level up gels, but he's not here right now to confirm or deny it. So
and he says he regrets it.
Yeah, it's tough.
So-
It's tough to live with regrets like that.
Yeah. I was like, well, you could load one of your saves. He's like, I don't regret it that much. So Yuri's like, Raven's like, here, I know how to escape. We got this. You want to go to Barbos's place? There's a secret sewer passage that will take you right there.
Yeah, and it's super great because you can't, like, it's all cutscenes, and then it shoves you through this fucking sewer, and then it's all cutscenes again for like 2 hours.
It took me 40 minutes before the next save point at the end of this dungeon. So through you go. The dungeon has a fun mechanic where you've upgraded. Oh no, the dungeon has a fun mechanic where you have a light. She has a light Blastia, but you have to recharge it with air every 30 seconds, or you get attacked.
It's your sorcerer's ring.
No, the sorcerer ring gets upgraded inside after this dungeon part.
Oh,
no,
this part where she like lights up the thing.
yeah. I like this. I thought it was a fun little mechanic. I think there's stuff like this in a couple other games we played. You get to explore here. It's just a nice little moody. I thought this place looked nice and had a really nice like ambient soundtrack. It was fun walking around. I did that this morning, so I remember it very well. And you get to oh right, we do find a guild oath carved on a wall in the sewer. What was the oath?
Oh, something about like.
Oh yeah.
Whoa! I described that so well, you remembered right away.
Yeah, but you say it.
It's like, hey, we were dissatisfied with the level of protection that the Empire provided, so we came together to form our own nation. But then we got into a bunch of infighting that wasn't chill. We got to look out for each other and be super friends. Signed, Barbos, and also that pirate everyone keeps talking about being a huge traitor and the worst guy ever.
Exactly.
Egg-saladly.
So you end up, you go through this whole area. There's a weird fight where you get rushed by people, but I feel like that's after this chunker. There wasn't a boss fight though, right? For this area?
Nope.
No.
There wasn't. So you end up, like, it opens up to this bar. I guess it's like the Blood Alliance's home base bar with a sign saying, just serve yourself. But no
Yeah,
one's
it's
there.
totally fucking empty.
Yeah, it's an honor bar. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, not just no staff, no patrons.
Yeah.
It's an empty bar.
I had a
but-
workplace with that of like not an honor bar, but it was just like had beer taps and stuff. But then they had to close it because employees kept getting really drunk at work.
Yeah,
Imagine
weird.
that.
So the place is empty except Barbos and Ragou, Chef Boyar Ragou, are upstairs watching the battle. They from his bar, he has a perfect view of where the battle between the guilds and the fucking Imperials is about to take place. Like, what? So these armies just teleported together.
Yeah, and they aren't actually fighting. They're lining up like the Sharks versus the Jets. Like
Yeah.
they aren't.
They are, yeah.
Flynn comes riding out and Barbos, you make yourself known to Barbos, and he's like, ha, nothing will stop my plan. And then suddenly it cuts to Flynn on one of those weird horse deer things. And he rides out into the middle of the battle and he says, stop. And he holds it up. He holds up, this is the real letter from
No,
Yoda.
wait, I actually have a real letter.
And
they open
he
it up and
gives
it
them
says-
his
It
totally
says,
real
remember
letter.
what I said about Barbos and his small dick? I meant every word.
Yeah, so Barbos, of course, then decides that the best way to stop this is to assassinate Flynn, and he has his men who appear out of nowhere, which is on par for this game, I guess, appear with giant laser guns? Why do the bad guys have laser guns now? Did we start fighting Cobra at some point?
I
I
can't
just maybe
actually
didn't
hear
notice.
you over Johnny.
I don't know
I'm
what's
afraid.
going on.
I need a hero. I got Flynn to
Can you,
come with
Jim,
a
can you
letter
mute John?
now.
So, Barbos' men decide to shoot Flynn from their amazing vantage point with their new laser gun sniper rifles.
Sure, like you do.
Like you have? Where did these come from? Are we fighting fucking Cobra now? Are we G.I. Joe? Mm-hmm. Anyway, but of course everything starts exploding. Yuri and the gang attack to stop the fight or to stop Flynn from getting shot. Everything starts exploding in the bar for some reason. People start firing all over the place.
I did like that
pulls out his
Barbos and
own-
Ragou were like, hey, you didn't tell me about this tower you built with my money. And Barbos is like, yeah, well, you're in the council and I'm a union and I don't have to tell you, you're not my boss. You know, they start arguing. It's a good infighting.
I agree, actually. There's some fun here. They kind of turn on each other a bit. Barbos pulls out a sniper rifle and shoots at you. And then there's this weird part. You know, this game's got some real weird transitionary cutscenes sometimes where you just are kind of left going, huh? But Barbos, Rita's like, his gun's going to take a long time to reload. Let's attack. And then his gun is reloaded, and he's like, ha, gotcha, stupids. But then the Dragon Rider comes in and saves the day. And Barbos pulls out a crazy glowing chainsaw sword, which he uses to fly away like Mary Poppins' umbrella. It does not make any sense. But Yuri does yell to the Dragon Rider, please, I want to chase him, take me after him. And Rita and everybody is like, no. And Rita's like, yeah, we got to fight that asshole. And Yuri's like, focus on the real enemy, Barbos, a man who stole something from me. And
Not this dragon terrorist who keeps
not this
destroying
dragon
Blast-
terrorist.
Yeah.
And
so
I'm
Yuri,
uncomfortable with the dragon's pointed white hood. I gotta say, the Dragon Rider's hood.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that,
I
Johnny.
did not like that.
Great pull. Delete that.
No, it's true. And I am
Yuri-
uncomfortable with it.
Jumps onto the Dragon Rider's dragon, and they chase after Barbos. And there's a whole crazy long cutscene, and a lot more stuff happens, but we're not going to go through that because Vanessa wants to end here.
Oh, it's a good.
I
It's a
want to end
good.
on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Why did the Dragon Rider decide to stop and pick up a passenger?
Yeah.
Is it a dragon
Where are they
Uber?
going?
Listeners, you won't find out till next week, but we found out seconds later. All right. Well, that's it for this episode's week full of square roots. Next time, Johnny is Johnny and Patreon. Good night, everybody.
There weren't any bullshit mini games that I found, but maybe there were. I haven't found any more Dice Master games.
Me either. I
No,
keep
me
looking for
neither.
them.
And
I expected you to call the lights and the teleport pods mini games, though those did just seem to be traversal mechanics to me.
yeah, that's just like puzzles. Next time, until we reach the desert.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
like
play
the puzzle
until
of
we.
how to open the door. with
Let's
the
so
lock.
like we'll play until you leave the oasis town to get to the desert proper. Is that what you meant? Vanessa?
I meant stepping through the cave into the desert sands.
what do they call that cave? I don't remember.
The Cave of Wonders.
The waysand, right? Waysand
Yeah.
of something. We'll play through the end of the waysand of whatever.
Sideways Stories from Waysand School.
Ooh, I love those.
Yeah, I remember this.
Louis Sakar. All right, squarely against. Matt, what are you squarely against?
Oh, shoot. I'm rallying for our cool Dragon Rider friend with her cool dragon dolphin. That's a dolphin. Maybe like a manatee? Yeah, that's a manatee. That's a manatee dragon. So that's what I'm rallying for. What about you, Johnny?
I am roundly for Dawn's big chest. Dawn's big chest. It's big. It's nice. It's got scars on it. Jim, what are you squarely against?
I am roundly for my man Barbos' big old chainsaw sword. It
How he
looks,
flies him away like Mary
It
Poppins.
looks
Fuck.
super goofy and can seemingly do everything. Vanessa, what are you squarely against?
I'm squarely against all this bullying of Carol. He's fine.
Yeah,
He's
Carol's
just
great.
a little boy. Leave him alone.
Everybody's really mean to Carol.
He's
Yeah.
super annoying, and I do kind of hope that he's the one that dies. Anyway,
Dies?
I mean, that's not what I
He's a
meant.
child. You've always been squarely against child death. You can't start now.
Yeah.
You've really caught me out here. Hoisted by my own petard.
I am, however, roundly for Patty, who I don't think we talked about at all, but she did appear
yeah.
in this segment. She fell from the sky, and Yuri caught her and then dumped her onto the ground.
Yeah, he just drops her. That made me laugh so hard.
Her scenes are definitely like tacked on. You can tell.
Well, she was like
that
a
makes
DLC
sense.
character or something, or she was like a
is she?
pre-order character.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
remember
she
her.
wasn't in the
Oh, no,
original
she was,
game.
She was in the PlayStation version of the game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wasn't in the original, but in the PlayStation version.
I feel like I remember Patty, but I guess I'm wrong.
She
Maybe
was in
you
the
played
PS3
PlayStation
version.
No,
Yeah.
I played the Xbox 360 version for sure. Anyway,
Do we have any
Well-
emails this week?
No.
we already discussed it. It was a real mail.
I
Oh yeah, we got a real mail.
And I
Wah
didn't
wah wee
read it
wah.
because I don't want to like get choked up on the podcast. It was so nice.
It was a very sweet letter. Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, I think all that's left to do is talk about our Cool Beans Patreon.
Right?
Come join the Patreon because next year's going to be the year of votes and stuff.
Vanessa,
So
have
many
you put
votes.
any?
Votes and stuff.
Have you thought about what this month's bonus episode's going to be?
I thought a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I came up with nothing. So I'm gonna put my thinking hat right back on and think and try to think of something fun for us to do.
I don't know how long that Guardians of the Galaxy game is.
Oh, I've heard it's good.
But it's Vanessa's thing.
Yeah.
We can do whatever Vanessa
it's
wants.
my thing, and I won't be bullied into playing some Star-Lord game. No, thank you.
Okay.
What
no
about
problem.
House
Who's
of
the-
Ashes?
Who did they replace the voice actor with? It's somebody better.
Chris Pratt.
Patrick
That's
Stewart.
no.
Hey, are y'all excited for Chris Pratt to voice Garfield? Everyone's
No.
Why,
favorite villain?
why is everyone so mad about it? It's Garfield.
No, everyone's
Chris
just mad
Pratt
that
voice Garfield.
like he's a bad voice actor and they keep casting him, and also he sucks.
I don't think he's a bad voice actor. I think he's fucking fantastic. I
We
love the
know
Lego
you're a
movie
huge Chris
with my
Pratt fan.
whole heart.
Well, I think he's an untested voice actor, I'd say. I haven't really
I mean,
heard him do anything aside from the Lego movie.
I mean, for
Love
now,
movie
but
too.
he's about to be put through the Garfield gauntlet, and he'll
Garfield-
come out
Mario.
a seasoned pro. at
that
the
Mario
end of
movie's
it.
never coming out.
What do you mean?
Nintendo going to get all weird about it and pull the plug on it in 6 months.
You think
Wow.
Nintendo will, but the people at Garfield and Friends won't pull the plug on their project?
You know that there's a Garfield show where they're superheroes, Vanessa?
Yes,
We
we've
definitely talked about
it.
that on the show.
Yes.
Like, I don't think that the Garfield people give a shit about a single thing that anybody wants to do with their property as long as they get paid money for it.
That's called Garfield Pet Force. Thank you. But
go ahead
anyways,
and-
back to the Patreon.
Back to the Patreon.
Back to the Patreon. So for $3 a month, you can listen to every single bonus episode we have done, like our fantastic Doki Doki Literature Club episode, which came out about a week ago, week and a bit. Why don't you go listen to that? It's good. I think you'll like it.
It's real good.
We made poems and everything.
Yeah, you get
wasn't
some
on it.
Square Roots original poems.
So it can't be that good.
Poems. Excuse me. Poems.
Yeah, poems.
There's no that poem.
For
So,
$5 a month, you can vote in upcoming votes. And next year is 2022. It's up to you, where it'll be in your best interest to be our $5 patron so you can vote on all these votes and support
Yeah.
the show.
Vote on all the votes.
Yeah, there's going to be lots of votes. We'll have to figure out categories and stuff, but we'll talk about that and come back with what the votes are going to be. It's going to be fun, I think.
If you'd like to sign up for the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/SquareRootsPodcast. And another benefit of becoming a patron, every week we like to read a smattering of Patreon usernames on the air to thank them personally. I will start this week by thanking Wawawiwa, Andy M, Jack Mazzell, Need for Rapide Nitro, Adam Zimmerman, Ben Without Hats, Florian Jonas Kramer, Aiden Marriott, Vanessa Fan. The following people play on easy mode: Jim, Mikey Mucho, Christian Go, Michael Crawford, David Shook, Still Just Nursing an Arrow Wound, Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS5, The Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, Dawn of Dragon Justice, Marcus Harnsberry, and Mostly Rational Person.
I'd like to thank Robert M. Pollum, Hexagon, It's Hard to Catch Mewtwo with D's Nuts in Your Mouth, Gage Lasharite, John Scala, Rubber Bear, William Westgard, Andy Smith, All This Dragon Killin', and For What? I'm Commander Squall, and this is my favorite store on the garden. Nick, Cerebus Minotaur, Alexander Jokic, Eric Garby, Sergeant Spaghetti, and Cerebus Minotaur.
Cerberus
Tried to do it 2
Minotaur.
ways.
There's
Vanessa?
more.
There's more.
There's more names.
Vanessa?
There's
More names for Matt.
Oh,
More names for Matt.
There's 3 more
What are you
names.
talking about?
he already did
Alexander-
More
that.
names.
He
I
did?
already did those, guys. Can
Yeah.
you just move on?
Dovahkiin's Discount Dragon Barn, Eric Poirier, Star Drifter, Chris Ryan, Chris Penyak, Tracy, Rolled Earth, Soy Soda Pop, Matthew, Casterline, Chad Wilson, Randy, Joseph, Joshua Bennett, Ryan Miller, Oh Power That Lies at the Root of All Creation, Tyler Crump.
I'd like to thank Ross Hartley, Sean Gonzalez, George Brady, Tom, Vanessa's Renegade Cheeseplate, Dylan Rowe, Keysby Knight, Ari, Corpivara, Samu Mitchell, Orcus, The Great, Ethan G. Pearson, OMG, What Is This Game, Eric Pidkameni, Angel, Jake Dickerson, This is Commander Gronk, and It's My Favorite Husband in Cyrodiil, Cameron Shoei, and Sexually Grandma's Boy Toy is Marcus Harnsberry, CharityWater.org, Mostly Rational Person, Aaron, Zelda 2 is underrated little, and why does Matthew hate Kermit riding a bicycle so much?
You know why. Kermit riding a bicycle knows what Kermit riding a bicycle did.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email to have read on the air, our email address is squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can find us on Twitter @SquareRootsPod.
That's us supporting the meta brand of companies.
I recently deactivated my Facebook, so I'm
I was trying to tag you in something. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Wow. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks to Stephen Morris for our awesome Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links are in the show notes.
Hello, Spotify listeners. If you're listening on Spotify and would like to hear our episodes that are not on Spotify, check out our RSS feed at squareroots.libsyn.com.
All right, everyone. For Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa, and my arm hurts.
Aww.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.